topics where I'm sidetracking here a little bit, but when someone doesn't understand something, usually, you can be fearful for that. But usually you can dive into it, learn about it. But there's something about death, clearly, because it's death, that you don't see a lot of people diving into something or to learn more about it or even listen to a podcast like this. But you've done it in such a way that is entertaining and kind of takes the ease off it through your humor and even educational videos. Like when I was going through, I was like, oh, she makes a joke, but she's also adding a lot of value to it. So how did that come about? How did you, is that just who you are, or is it something that you developed along the way through your patients to add that flair to death?
Well, people always think working in hospice is sad, and it's really not. Myself and my colleagues, we're kind of given to dark humor. I guess it's a coping mechanism. And I learned through being with patients and their families that humor is something that people retain until they die, and they retain it when their loved one is dying, and it is a great coping skill. And I've always been a little bit of an entertainer. I was in, musicals and stuff like that in high school, community theater. When I got on TikTok, I actually did not intend on doing anything related to death and dying or hospice. I was trying to learn how to shuffle dance. And my first TikTok video is actually like this dumb little trend. In fact, my first several videos were these dumb little TikTok trends. And one day I told a story, and it was just kind of a straightforward story about a hospice experience. And it went viral, and I started to get a lot of followers. But what I really wanted to do was the trend, because I thought the trends were really fun and I like to be funny. And so I thought, how can I, turn this trend into something that's educational, and it'll be fun, and it lightens up the topic of death, and it'll appeal to a younger audience, and so I just kind of went with that. And really, my philosophy is that death is a dark subject, and it's easier to digest if you lighten it up. And I have found that people really responded to that. Um, my favorite example is a video that I did where I'm just dancing around, and the song goes, it's just water. And I'm just dancing around and lip syncing it. And on the words I'm saying, the dying person doesn't need any water. Their body is shutting down. They're not going to die from dehydration. They're dying from their disease. And it got a lot of views. And I had a lot of comments from people who said, thank you for this information. I didn't know this. And one of them was somebody who told me that for the last 15 years, she worried that her dad had died from dehydration, and that video alleviated that fear in
No
her.
way.
And so I realized that type of education is really valuable to a lot of people.